and welcome to Shell Point Today for Thursday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. On today's show, we'll listen to Ray Boyce as he gives us a taste of what to expect in his Academy class on Shakespearean tragedies. We'll take a look back at the Waters Watch neighborhood launch and Springs expansion event that took place earlier this month. And Katelyn Van Scoy will get the story on the Spot Play Readers Cafe event coming next week. March is National Nutrition Month, and so we want to be sure and remind you about this Saturday's LifeQuest discussion group with Hospitality Services Assistant Director Linda Rakos. She is a registered dietitian nutritionist who will present 12 simple dining tips to help you dedicate yourself to a healthy lifestyle. Come learn about healthy, flavorful eating at home and in the Shell Point dining locations. Saturday's discussion group takes place in the Social Center at 10:15 a.m. Looking ahead to next week, it looks like the presidents and their first ladies are coming back to Shell Point on Monday. William and Sue Wills will be taking on the roles of Ronald and Nancy Reagan in the Grand Cypress Room at 1:30. Come see this amazing team recreate history in a dramatic performance. Also on Monday, you can have dinner at Two Meatballs in the Kitchen in Fort Myers. I said at Two Meatballs, not with. Anyway, this wonderful restaurant with the comical name has a menu based on the finest seasonal produce, fresh seafood, authentic oils, and cheeses. Each dish is individually prepared perfectly. You can try some cannoli cake or tiramisu for dessert. Court pickups depart from the island at 4:30 p.m. on Monday, and the cost of the trip is $7 with dinner on your own. Okay, now that my appetite is at an all-time high, let's move on to something not related to food. Ray Boyce is at it again with yet another Salute to Shakespeare Academy class that focuses on the tragedies. Here's Terry Colath to give us a teaser.
Hello, I'm Terry Colath. I'm here today with Ray Boyce of Rosemont. We're talking about the fourth and final play in our Salute to Shakespeare 2016. This time we're going to look at tragedies and King Lear.
Yeah. Terry, we've chosen what many people think is the greatest of the tragedies, a very complex play, very demanding to characters who embark on performing the play, extremely well challenging for everybody. Dramatic story, powerful story, one of great turmoil and hurt, and then ultimate reconciliation. And it's a wonderful story, and we'll see a film, one of the great performances of it. So I really look forward to being with you.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful. Now let's make it really clear, Ray, that we have, it doesn't stop here, the actual month of April, where the world...
It's the program that keeps giving and giving.
It is the month of April, when the whole world is celebrating the life of Shakespeare. We're going to have two plays in our resort services happenings, and people can watch Shell Point Live, or of course look on page 38 in their Academy brochure on your tragedy page, FLL 41, and see exactly the dates and times of the movies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't forget to join us.
Earlier this month, there was a lot of excitement at the Springs Assisted Living facility. There was a huge tent out in the parking lot, complete with delicious food and live jazz music. Then everyone formed a really long line to get into the Springs to see something new and exciting. This was the launch of the Waters Watch neighborhood and the expansion of the Springs Assisted Living, which begins with the newly expanded apartment rooms. Standing by now is Director of Assisted Living's Rita Southern to give us a recap of this fantastic event.
On Thursday, March 3rd, over 850 Shell Point residents dove into the details of what is planned for the new Waters Watch neighborhood and the plans for the upcoming expansion to the Springs. Special guests included the leading architects, John Burge and Dave Herring, from the Renaissance Design Group, and our newest interior designer, Kelly Hoffman, from the Spellman Brady & Company. Residents enjoyed fabulous food and jazz entertainment by the John Reese Project. Peter Dice gave an overview of the neighborhood plans for the Waters Watch neighborhood, which will include a new skilled nursing facility, the Waterford at Shell Point, the new emergency shelter parking garage. Also was focusing on the new Welcome Center for Sales and Marketing here at Shell Point. We also talked a bit about the Shell Point Museum. Also talked a lot about the Memory Institute at Shell Point. Those in attendance learned about the exciting plans for the transformation that will take place to both the exterior and interior of the Springs, in addition to the newly constructed recreational wing that will feature a Springs community room, a billiards and den room for the gentlemen, resident storage, a country store. As part of our new integrated memory support program, we will also offer the day respite program at the Springs, similar to what we are currently offering at the Arbor. This program is designed to allow residents in independent and assisted living an added layer of support to help them stay in their current home as long as possible through supportive services and activities designed just for them. A beautiful new courtyard will also feature an outdoor kitchen, fireplace, and areas for both shade and a place to enjoy the beautiful sunshine. This courtyard will connect residents to the new Waters Watch walking paths and boardwalk. We also recognize the need for additional assisted living options here at Shell Point and are excited to share the plans with you for a 4-story addition on the west side of the Springs that will feature 27 new 1-bedroom, bath and a half apartments. This addition is expected to be ready in approximately 18 to 24 months. This wing will also include undercover parking. A new fitness center, library, resident storage, and media room will also be added. If you are interested in securing one of the 27 new apartments, please contact your case manager to learn what apartments may still be available. There is no upfront cost to securing one of these 27 units, but if you are in a position to have to cancel and back out after signing the confirmation of moving into one of these units, you will be charged a $5,000 penalty. It is important to remember that just because your name is on the waiting list for the King's Crown and/or Arbor, you will not be automatically added to the waiting list for the Springs. You have to speak to a case manager to have your name added to the list. There is no charge in adding your name to any of the assisted living waiting lists, and you choose which buildings you are interested in. The case managers are now collecting the names of residents who may be interested in the new memory care residence as well. Plans for the new memory care residence at the Springs will offer 28 private apartments for memory support. This small house concept will allow residents with a dementia diagnosis or related disease a safe place to call home in the most residential setting. This diamond-shaped building will feature a beautiful interior courtyard and 2 side courtyards, giving the residents that live there the ability to stroll in and out of the building at their leisure and at their will. If you have any questions or are interested in learning more, please contact your case manager for additional information.
Giving away free donuts up here?
Yeah.
I'm wondering this line. There's a very popular something up there.
A free pick of whether you want to look at the street or the estuary.
Okay, so you need to get in the front of the line to get a good view.
That's right. Yeah,
Right.
You have to, and also how high you're going to be.
Aha.
But I understand the big building's going to be 5 stories.
Yeah, that's going to be something. It's quite a bit, and then they're going to add on the back and put the pool table or something back there.
It's good to be planning ahead.
Yes, excellent. Looks like you've got quite a thing going on here.
I do.
Are you giving away free ice cream cones?
Oh,
Is that
I
what,
wish.
what's going on here?
I wish. I'm answering questions.
I mean, this is like the longest line.
I'm answering questions.
Something good is going on
We're
here.
touring the springs. We're just having folks come in, and after they've enjoyed a wonderful breakfast, now the VIP group is having a chance to go upstairs and tour the newly furnished, beautiful new springs models. They're spectacular.
So how was it?
Great, very nice. They really did a great job.
I love it. I love it.
So Bobby Brown,
Yes, sir.
is that an amazing space or what?
That is the most amazing space. And I'm going to go reserve one right now.
All right.
So this will be my assisted living.
So you're just making yourself at home here today?
Oh, absolutely. No, I live here now. I live down in 306.
No, I mean in this room right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, it looks like you have a nice view out here.
Oh, it's
you
fabulous.
can see the little lake back there.
I
and-
can see Genonia.
How about that?
2 miles away.
So
How about that?
fantastic.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, that's why I chose it.
So how do you like what they've done here with opening up the?
Oh, the
extra-
decorator has been fabulous.
Isn't that nice?
Yes, and this, of course, you know, to give me 2 rooms.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life.
It's
I don't ever
wonderful.
have to move again.
On March 21st, it will be the time for the second annual Play Readers Cafe. Shell Point's own theater, or Spot, is taking it from the stage into a more relaxed small group setting. Short stories and comedy, along with coffee and dessert, is a fun time not to be missed. Katelyn Van Scoy brought Ruth Deuber, Kate Sullivan, and David Hauenstein into the studio to give us a preview of what to expect on Monday the 21st.
Hello and welcome. I'm Katelyn Van Scoy. I'm here with David Hauenstein, Ruth Deuber, and Kate Sullivan, and we're here to talk about Play Readers Cafe. It will be happening March 21st in the Social Center at 7:15, and it is sign-up required. And this is the second annual event we're having of this caliber. Now, Ruth, tell us a little bit about what this is.
I think the idea came from the fact that we have play readers, and there are some that would not get up on the stage to do the spot performances, and yet they read so well. We do cold reads, and some of them are just almost professional sounding. And I have 2 of them here that qualify for that. This is what I say was the fact that they will stand up in a small group. So I had David to help me out. A lot of the things that we have are from his show, Listening to the Words. And so I enjoy working with David. So and Kate, along with some other people that were in Over the River and Through the Woods.
Okay. So, David, do you have a reading for us today?
It's old words and phrases remind us of the way we were. And the example that this man, Mr. Lederer, gives are back in the olden days, we had a lot of moxie. Remember that one? We'd put on our bib and tucker and straighten up and fly right. Hubba hubba. That was a biggie. We'd cut a rug in some juke joint and then go necking and petting and smooching and spooning and billing and cooing and pitching woo in hot rods and jalopies in some passion pit or lover's lane. Well, none of that is said anymore. Got an idea some of it is still being done.
There's not a soul in this room behind the cameras, and she doesn't know either, even know what the words are.
I understood about 5% of that.
5%, okay.
Now, with apologies to anyone who actually comes from the South, I'm going to attempt to do it with a little bit of a drawl. So Jeannie refers to her husband as left brain because he has overeducated himself But in the real world, his left brain kicks in and he does stupid things. So the story I'm going to relay is about a trip the two of them took to New York City for her to give a speech. And she is introduced to the concept of a pashmina. Y'all know what a pashmina is? It's a shawl, like our grandmas used to wear. It's a shawl. So come on the 21st and you'll hear the story of what happens with her when she takes a pashmina to New York City.
Sounds really exciting.
A few of the people that are going to be reading or talking have brought their own material. We have Dr. Bob Maxiner, and he's written the short play. And so it's just a wonderful group of people that get a chance to get up there and sort of let it go.
Well, you can see more of this at the Play Readers Cafe on March 21st. Make sure you sign up. It's at 7:15, and we're excited to see you there.
And now it's time to take a look at today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Top of the morning to ya, and happy St. Patrick's Day. This is the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Katelyn Van Scoy.
And I'm Bev Chandley.
And we'll be giving you all of today's activities. We start at 7:15 with a Bend, Breathe, and Balance Health Connections class in the Tarpon Room. At 8 o'clock, we have Men's Golf Association meeting at the Shell Point Golf Club. Also at 8, we have Round Robin Doubles Tennis at the Woodlands. And at 9:30, we have current events being discussed in the game room of the Woodlands. We have another 9:30 activity. It's Ladies Match Play Tennis at the Woodlands. And the Paddlers Club meet at the Kayak Storage for their weekly outing at 9:30. We move to 9:45 for introduction to line dancing in the Tarpon Room. And we have a Health Connections class at 10:15, Brown Bag Checkup. That'll be at the Shell Point Pharmacy. You do need to sign up for that. 10:15 is the time for basic line dancing in the Tarpon Room. And at 11 o'clock, we have the Suzaku heading out to Rum Runners or Fathoms for lunch. You do need to sign up for that trip. Here's Bev to tell you all about our afternoon.
Thank you, Caitlin. At 12:45, we'll have Mahjong being played in the Library Lounge on the island. At 1:15, the Butterfly Garden Committee meeting will be on the first floor, West Parlor of King's Crown. Also at 1:15, Fun and Fitness will be held in the community room of King's Crown. At 1:15, we'll have Samba, the card game, played at the Resident Activities Center. And 1:15 is the time the Spot Play Readers will be meeting in the Osprey Room. And Shuffleboard is our last 1:15 activity at the Shuffleboard Courts. Now the Stamp Ministry will be in the Stamp Room at 2 o'clock. At 2:15, the Computer Club will be in the Manatee Room on the island. The Alzheimer's Quest for a Cure will be held at the Village Church at 2:15. And our seamstress will be here for her weekly visit in the Osprey Room at 4 o'clock. At 4:30, we have Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. And Pinochle will be played in the Library Lounge on the island at 6:30. At 7 o'clock, you'll find the Trailblazers Bible Study in the Game Room of the Woodlands. And at 7:30, we have a St. Patrick's Day Irish Dancers performance at the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. You do need to sign up for that one. Well, that concludes the activities for today, and we will see you back here again tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday. At 1 o'clock, Painting with the Palette Knife continues in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. The iPhone Basic Apps Messages app will take place at 1:30 on the Cove at the Estuary. Sign up is required. At 4:15, the story of Pakistan and Afghanistan wraps up in the Social Center on the island for those who have signed up. Tomorrow, don't forget your Pavilion Auxiliary orientation if you're signed up for that. And we also have Salute to Shakespeare, The Tragedies. This is the last session in a series of lectures by Ray Boyce Parkwood. Be sure to see the happening section of Shell Point Life in April for the dates and times and places of the movies being shown to round out this series. And tomorrow we have another opportunity for the iPad, iPhone, Mac free walk-in clinic with the resident leaders of our technology program there to answer your questions.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is Irish lamb stew with cabbage and barley. The dinner special is the St. Patty's Day buffet for $15.95, and the soup of the day is black bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a mile-high hot corned beef sandwich with coleslaw for $7.75. The dinner special is Thai night for $8.75. Dinner specials on the Palm Grill are New York strip with caramelized peppers and onions for $19.95, or snapper en papillote, also for $19.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. Some time ago, I was touched by a fictional story written by Elizabeth Ballard in 1974 and printed that year in Home Life magazine, a Baptist family publication. Paul Harvey read this story during his daily radio broadcast on the 4th of April, 1998. It's the story about a little boy called Teddy and a teacher called Jean Thompson. It goes like this. Jean Thompson stood in front of her 5th grade class on the very first day of school in the fall and told the children a lie. Like most teachers, she looked at her pupils and she said that she loved them all the same. And that was impossible, because there in the front row, slumped in his seat, was a little boy named Teddy Stallard. Mrs. Thompson had watched Teddy the year before and noticed that he didn't play well with other children, that his clothes were messy, and that he constantly needed a bath. Teddy was rather unlovable. It got to the point where Mrs. Thompson would actually take delight in marking his papers with a broad red pen, marking X and then marking F at the top of the paper. Because Teddy was a sullen little boy, no one seemed to enjoy him either. At the school where Mrs. Thompson taught, she was required to review each child's records, however. But when she opened Teddy's file, she was in for a surprise. His 1st grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is a bright child with a ready laugh. He does his work neatly and has good manners. He's such a joy to be around." His 2nd grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is an excellent student, well liked by his classmates, but he's troubled because his mother has a terminal illness, and life at home must be a struggle." His 3rd grade teacher wrote, "Teddy continues to work well, but his mother's death has been hard on him. He tries to do his best, but his father doesn't show much interest, and his home life will soon affect him if some steps aren't taken." Teddy's 4th grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is withdrawn and doesn't show much interest in school. He doesn't have many friends, and sometimes he sleeps in class. He's tardy and could become a problem." By now, Mrs. Thompson understood Teddy's problem. But Christmas was coming fast. She was busy with the school play and grading papers, until the day before the holidays, when she was suddenly forced to focus on Teddy Stallard. Her children brought her presents, all wrapped with bright paper and ribbon, except for Teddy's, which was clumsily wrapped in a heavy brown paper of a scissored grocery bag. Mrs. Thompson took pains to open it carefully. Some of the children started to laugh when she found a rhinestone bracelet with some of the stones missing, and a bottle that was 1/4 full of cologne. She stifled the children's laughter when she exclaimed how pretty the bracelet was, putting it on and dabbing some of the perfume behind her other wrist. Teddy Stallard stayed after school that day, just long enough to say, "Mrs. Thompson, today you smell just like my mom used to smell." After the children left, she cried for at least an hour. On that very day, she quit teaching reading, writing, and speaking. Instead, she began to teach children. From then on, Jean Thompson began to pay particular attention to Teddy. As she worked with him, his mind seemed to come alive. The more she encouraged him, the faster he responded. On days that there would be an important test, Mrs. Thompson would remember that cologne. And by the end of the year, he had become one of the smartest children in the class. And well, he had also become the pet of the teacher who had once vowed to love all her children exactly the same. A year later, she found a note under her door from Teddy, telling her that of all the teachers he'd had in elementary school, she was his favorite. 6 years went by before she got another note from Teddy. He then wrote that he had finished high school, third in his class, and she was still his favorite teacher of all time. 4 years after that, she got another letter saying that while things had been tough at times, he'd stayed in school, had stuck with it, and would graduate from college with the highest of honors. He assured Mrs. Thompson she was still his favorite teacher. Then 4 more years passed, and yet another letter came. This time he explained that after he had earned his bachelor's degree, he decided to go a little further. The letter explained that she was still his favorite teacher, but that now his name was a little longer. It was signed Theodore F. Stallard, M.D. But the story doesn't end there. There was yet another letter that spring. Teddy said he'd met this girl and was to be married. He explained that his father had died a couple of years ago, and he was wondering if Mrs. Thompson might agree to sit in the pew that was usually reserved for the mother of the groom. And guess what? She wore that bracelet, the one with several rhinestones missing, and on that special day, Jean Thompson smelled just like, just like the way Teddy remembered his mother smelling on their last Christmas together. They hugged each other, and Dr. Stallard whispered in Mrs. Thompson's ear, "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson, for believing in me. Thank you so much for making me feel important and showing me that I could make a difference." Mrs. Thompson, with tears in her eyes, whispered back, "Teddy, you have it all wrong. You were the one who taught me that I could make a difference. I didn't know how to teach until I met you." Well, there you have it. And there's a lesson here about the importance of kindness. Jesus encouraged us to go the extra mile. He said, if you were kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? I think kind people are the best kind of people, don't you? And thank you for tuning in to Village Church Connections.
Thanks for joining us today. We invite you to return tomorrow when we'll hear about the Fall Prevention Health Connections class with Hannah Hosterman, and we'll recap the top stories from all of this week. This has been Shell Point Today for Thursday, March 17th. I'm Rich Nation, wishing you the best for the rest of today and look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.